Welcome to Drushyasinchana.
In this video, we cover 2-mark questions from all textbook chapters, providing concise answers to help with exam preparation and revision. Questions from the Solitary Reaper. Question number 1. Why do you think Wordsworth has chosen the Song of the Nightingale and the Cuckoo for comparison with the Solitary Reaper's song? Wordsworth compares the reaper's song to the nightingale and the cuckoo because both birds are famous for their melodious voices. However, he finds the girl's song even more enchanting, capable of surpassing the beauty of these natural singers. Question number 2. Why does the poet call the reaper solitary? The poet calls the reaper solitary because she is alone in the field, singing while she works. Her isolation adds to the beauty and mystery of her song, making it more profound and memorable for the poet. Question number 3. How has the poet made use of comparisons in the Solitary Reaper? The poet compares the reaper's song to the nightingale's welcome to weary travelers and the cuckoo's call breaking the silence of the distant Hebrides. These comparisons highlight the song's mesmerizing and deeply emotional effect. Question number 4. Why have the lines, "For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever," been repeated in the poem several times? What is their significance in the brook? These lines emphasize the eternal journey of the brook in contrast to human mortality. While generations of men pass away, the brook continues flowing, symbolizing nature's constancy against the fleeting nature of human life. Question number 5. What is the refrain given in the poem The Brook? What does it symbolize? The refrain, "For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever," appears repeatedly in the poem. It symbolizes the eternal and unceasing flow of the brook, highlighting nature's permanence compared to the short-lived existence of humans. Question number 6. The journey of a brook is eternal and forever. Explain. The brook flows continuously from its source to the river, overcoming all obstacles. It represents nature's eternal cycle and resilience. While human lives are short and temporary, the brook remains ever-flowing, symbolizing the continuity of life. Question number 7. Why do you think Wordsworth has chosen the Song of the Nightingale and the Cuckoo for comparison with the Solitary Reaper's song? Wordsworth compares the reaper's song to the nightingale and the cuckoo because both birds are famous for their melodious voices. However, he finds the girl's song even more enchanting, capable of surpassing the beauty of these natural singers. Question number 8. Why does the poet call the reaper solitary? The poet calls the reaper solitary because she is alone in the field, singing while she works. Her isolation adds to the beauty and mystery of her song, making it more profound and memorable for the poet. Question number 9. How has the poet made use of comparisons in the Solitary Reaper? The poet compares the reaper's song to the nightingale's welcome to weary travelers and the cuckoo's call breaking the silence of the distant Hebrides. These comparisons highlight the song's mesmerizing and deeply emotional effect. Question number 10. Why have the lines, "For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever," been repeated in the poem several times? What is their significance in the brook? These lines emphasize the eternal journey of the brook in contrast to human mortality. While generations of men pass away, the brook continues flowing, symbolizing nature's constancy against the fleeting nature of human life. Question number 11. What is the refrain given in the poem The Brook? What does it symbolize? The refrain, "For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever," appears repeatedly in the poem. It symbolizes the eternal and unceasing flow of the brook, highlighting nature's permanence compared to the short-lived existence of humans. Question number 12. The journey of a brook is eternal and forever. Explain. The brook flows continuously from its source to the river, overcoming all obstacles. It represents nature's eternal cycle and resilience. While human lives are short and temporary, the brook remains ever-flowing, symbolizing the continuity of life. Questions from the 7 Ages of Man Shakespeare. Question number 1. Why does Shakespeare compare the world to a stage in the 7 Ages? Shakespeare compares the world to a stage because, like actors in a play, humans enter life, perform different roles through 7 stages, and eventually exit. This metaphor highlights the temporary and scripted nature of human existence. Question number 2. Describe the first stage of life. Answer with reference to the 7 Ages. The first stage of life, according to Shakespeare, is infancy. The baby is helpless, crying and vomiting in the nurse's arms. This stage represents complete dependence on caregivers, as the infant has no control over its actions or surroundings. Questions from the Song of the Rain. Question number 1. I am like earthly life. Why does the poet call the rain earthly life? The poet calls the rain earthly life because, like life itself, rain nourishes, sustains, and revives the earth. It goes through a cycle of birth, transformation, and renewal, just as human life does. Question number 2. How has the poet called the rain a messenger of mercy? The poet calls the rain a messenger of mercy because it brings relief to the parched earth, quenches the thirst of living beings, and revitalizes nature, symbolizing divine grace and compassion. Question number 3. How is the arrival and departure of rain announced? The arrival of rain is announced by the thunder in the sky, signaling its approach. Its departure is marked by the appearance of a rainbow, symbolizing peace, beauty, and the completion of its task. Question number 4. How is the falling of rain like a welcome song? The rain is like a welcome song because it brings joy, freshness, and renewal. It enhances the beauty of nature, fills the air with a soothing rhythm, and nurtures all living things, making it a melodious and life-giving presence. Question number 5. What are the various functions performed by the rain in the Song of the Rain? The rain nourishes the earth, quenches the thirst of living beings, brings beauty to nature, purifies the atmosphere, and connects the heavens with the earth. It acts as a symbol of love, joy, and renewal. Question number 6. Describe the ending of the poem. How does the rain associate itself with various objects of nature and emotions of human beings? In the ending, the rain is described as the sigh of the sea, the laughter of the field, and the tears of heaven. These metaphors show that rain is deeply connected with nature and human emotions, symbolizing sorrow, joy, and love. Question from O. I wish I'd looked after me teeth. Question number 1. If you got a tooth, you got a friend. What do you understand by this line? This line means that healthy teeth are valuable and should be cared for. The poet regrets neglecting her teeth and realizes that they were her friends because they helped her eat and smile, but she took them for granted. Questions from the bishop's candlesticks. Question number 1. How did the bishop show kindness to the convict in the bishop's candlesticks? The bishop showed kindness by giving the convict food, a warm bed, and treating him with respect and compassion, even when he stole from him. He forgave the convict and gifted him the silver candlesticks to help him start a new life. Question number 2. Why did the convict steal the silver candlesticks from the bishop's house? The convict stole the candlesticks because he had suffered years of cruelty in prison and had lost faith in humanity. He believed that stealing was his only means of survival and escape from his miserable life. Question number 3. I was a man once, I am a beast now. What forces the convict to say these words? The convict says these words because years of harsh imprisonment and inhumane treatment turned him into a hardened, bitter man. He lost his sense of morality and humanity due to the cruel conditions he endured. Question number 4. What was the impact of the bishop's kindness on the convict's transformation? The bishop's kindness deeply moved the convict and restored his faith in humanity. He realized that goodness still existed in the world, and he decided to reform and live an honest life. Question number 5. Why did the bishop sell the silver salt cellars? The bishop sold the silver salt cellars to help a poor woman, mere Gringoa, pay her rent. This act of generosity shows his selflessness and concern for the needy. Question number 6. How does Persum treat Miri? Persum treats Miri with arrogance and impatience. She considers Miri inferior and often speaks to her harshly, showing little regard for her struggles and hard work. Questions from bestseller Pescud. Question number 1. How did Pescud succeed in extracting information about Jessie? Pescud checked into the Bay View House Hotel, posing as a salesman. He befriended the landlord and gradually steered the conversation toward local gossip, ultimately obtaining information about Jessie and her family. Question number 2. What was John Pescud's opinion about business? Pescud believed that in business, a person should be practical, hardworking, and sincere. He valued steady progress and considered honesty and determination essential for success in his profession. Question number 3. Why is John A. Pescud so critical of bestsellers of the present day? Pescud criticized bestsellers for being unrealistic and exaggerated. He mocks their plots, where American heroes fall in love with European princesses, stating that in real life, people marry within their social class. Question number 4. How do characters in a bestseller differ from people in real life? In bestsellers, characters live in a fantasy world with dramatic love stories and unrealistic coincidences. In real life, people make practical decisions, and relationships are based on compatibility rather than fairy tale romance. Question number 5. Which qualities of John A. Pescud made him create an impression on the Colonel? Pescud's sincerity, simple-heartedness, frankness, and respectful manners impressed the Colonel. He handled his meeting with confidence and openness, winning the Colonel's approval. Question number 6. My father is a lineal descendant of belted earls. Why does Jessie believe this fact is an obstacle in her relationship with John A. Pescud? Jessie believes that the social gap between her aristocratic background and Pescud's middle-class origins might create problems, as her father might disapprove of their relationship. Questions from the man who knew too much. Question number 1. What kind of training did the privates receive in The Man Who Knew Too Much? The privates were trained in musketry, handling hand grenades, physical endurance, and other methods of warfare to prepare them for battle. Question number 2. How did the professor behave when he was on cookhouse duties? Did he change himself? Even when assigned to the cookhouse, the professor continued to correct others, commenting on the unhygienic way of peeling potatoes. His habit of showing off knowledge remained unchanged. Question number 3. How did Private Quelch respond to mistakes made by his colleagues in the army training camp? Private Quelch immediately corrected mistakes, often in a condescending manner. He constantly interrupted instructors and tried to display his superior knowledge, irritating his fellow soldiers. Question number 4. How did Corporal Turnbull snub the professor? Corporal Turnbull, annoyed by Private Quelch's interruptions, assigned him to permanent cookhouse duties as a way to silence him and teach him humility. Question number 5. What was the reaction of the sergeant when Private Quelch interrupted him during his first lesson in musketry? The sergeant was taken aback and irritated by the interruption. Though initially amused, he quickly realized that Quelch was a know-it-all and became annoyed by his arrogance. Question number 6. What did the professor mean by intelligent reading? By intelligent reading, the professor meant studying deeply and thoroughly, gaining expert knowledge on various subjects, and being able to recall precise details effortlessly. Question number 7. What does the dark, sun-dried appearance of the sergeant suggest about him? The sergeant's rugged appearance suggests that he was an experienced soldier who had spent years in the field, enduring harsh conditions and gaining practical knowledge. Questions from the Brambles Herald. Question number 1. Why did Bramble sacrifice the truth for Harold? Bramble hid his profession as a boxer because he and his wife feared that Harold, who was studious and refined, would be ashamed of his father's career. Question number 2. What reason did Bramble give to Jerry Fisher, his trainer, for giving up the bout? Bramble told Jerry Fisher that he was quitting boxing for the sake of Harold, as he did not want his son to know about his profession and feel disgraced. Question number 3. It was a constant source of amazement to Mrs. Bramble. What was it? Mrs. Bramble was constantly amazed at how such an intelligent and exceptional child as Harold could be born to ordinary parents like her and Bill. Question number 4. An overprotective and possessive mother, Mrs. Bramble, never understands either Bill or Harold. Draw a character sketch of Mrs. Bramble highlighting all the important traits of her personality. Mrs. Bramble is a loving yet overprotective mother who deeply adores Harold. She is practical, strong-willed, and makes all major decisions in the family. She fails to see Harold's independent thinking and wrongly assumes that he would be ashamed of his father's boxing career. Question number 5. Why did Bill think Harold would die of shame? Bill believed that Harold, who was studious and refined, would feel embarrassed if he discovered that his father was a professional boxer. Question number 6. How did Harold feel about his mother's way of addressing him? Harold disliked being spoken to as if he were a baby. He preferred to be treated as a grown-up and found his mother's overprotectiveness frustrating. Question number 7. What kind of life did Bill wish to lead after his retirement? After retirement, Bill wanted to leave boxing behind and lead a simple, peaceful life, possibly working as an instructor in a school. Questions from Villa for Sale Gaston. Question number 1. Why did Gaston quote 300,000 francs for the villa? Gaston quoted this low price, expecting the owner to refuse the deal. He did not want to buy the villa as he felt it would benefit his wife's relatives more than him. Question number 2. What were the flaws pointed out by Gaston in the villa put up for sale by Juliet? Gaston claimed that the villa was poorly designed, lacked proper ventilation, and was overpriced, trying to discourage his wife from buying it. Question number 3. Why was Mrs. Earl Smith not interested in going over the house? Mrs. Earl Smith was an American businesswoman who focused only on the deal, not the details of the house. She wanted to finalize the purchase quickly for professional purposes. Question number 4. On the principle of people who like children and haven't any can always go and live near a school. Explain this comment in the context of villa for sale. This sarcastic remark suggests that people who don't have something often try to be close to it, implying that Gaston didn't want to buy the villa but still got involved in its sale. Questions from the road not taken. Question number 5. What lesson does the road not taken teach us about decision-making in life? The poem teaches that choices shape our lives, and we must take responsibility for them. It emphasizes the importance of independent thinking, as the road we choose can determine our future. Stay tuned for the next video, where we will cover 6-mark questions to further help with your exam preparation.